I am Felipe.
I am Renee.
And I am Mariana.
We are fortunate enough to have studied abroad.
We face challenges to reach our dreams.
And like us, many others have taken the risk.
This space is for all of us to share our tales,
our experiences, and our victories.
This is our international path. Hello guys, I hope you're having a great day, and if not, we're here to make it a good day. As we let you know in our social media and in the previous episode, today we're going to talk about a very nice movie that we already watched. I hope you watch it as well. And we really recommend you to watch it before you listen to the podcast, because we're going to have major spoilers and stuff like that. So yeah, if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it and then come back. And if you watch it before you're listening to this, you are very welcome. So in 1997, Kevin Smith released this movie. It's called Chasing Amy. In this movie, he talks about a couple. It's a rom-com. So it's a very interesting movie. I really enjoy it. It's one of my favorites. Well, it's my favorite from Kevin Smith because it's a very fresh one. We're going to talk about that. So yeah.
Yeah, so first, before anything, we watched it on Amazon Prime. So I am aware that platforms have different content in different countries. So we watched it on Prime in Canada. So if you cannot find it on Prime, wherever you are, try Netflix or other provider. So yeah, watch it and then come back, or stay and then watch the movie. Do whatever you want.
Yep. So yeah, what do you guys think about the movie? By this point, we're just gonna talk about it. I really enjoy it, to be honest.
Personally, I liked it. I really liked the movie. Just at the beginning, I thought it was kind of slow and I wasn't that focused. It was okay. But then started getting way better. And I think it's really different from the rest of the movies. I've never watched anything like that before.
No worries. Yeah, I really like that. It starts very slow, but it sets the personality of each of the members, how they interact with each other and their way of thinking about things. I really like that. I really enjoy how they evolve throughout the movie. I don't know, they set them from the beginning of the movie,
Yeah, I think my favorite part about the movie is that it's makes you think about everything the characters are doing and everything. As Marina said, it's a little slow, and it starts building up a little bit of tension and tension and tension. I think the climax, it's very closer to the end, but I don't know. I think it's a really well-planned movie. Felipe calls it a rom-com. I see why he says that, but I will not categorize it as a rom-com alone. I think there's more into it.
Yeah, I mean it has more depth, it has more things, but it's basically a rom-com, it has the same structure. It's the couple that fight in the middle and then they go back together. But in this one, as you guys already know, because we watch it together, if you're listening to this right now, you already watch it. And they don't go back together as in normal rom-coms. And I really like that because by the time that they broke up for real, there is no way they go back together. I feel that little reason, you don't leave the movie feeling sad. You feel relief because you know that every single character learned something throughout the movie,
Yeah,
I found it very beautiful. But yeah, sorry.
something I really liked it's that it's a old movie. You say it's like 1980 something?
1997. But yeah.
Yeah,
You just
1987.
called me
And
old,
the
Mariana.
top
Thank
three.
you.
Oh, come on. Well, it's not that old anymore. Well, anyways, but it touches like certain topics that are pretty controversial and that they're really happening right now and that we want them to change. Like, for example, all these relationship, they stop like romanticizing
Yeah.
all the relationship. Like, yeah, you have problems, but it doesn't matter. You should go back anyways, even though if they don't accept who you are, but you should forgive and go back and just like keep trying over and over again. But this time she's like, I'm not happy. So they all decide to live their lives and they have happy lives and they don't hate each other. They have a good relationship, but they
Yeah,
just
I feel
decide to
that
go their separate
the
ways.
ending it's like one of the most powerful. Well, like it's a very good ending because like it demonstrates that he like the protagonist Holden and Banky, that is his friend, like they still love each other as friends, and even though like I really like that their last conversation it doesn't even have a dialogue. It's just like you can feel that they are still friends, but they just don't want to talk to each other, or I don't know. Like it's a beautiful way to talk like with your friend, and I don't know. Like I really enjoy that kind of stuff. You know, like when they don't follow the conventional way of ending a movie, where it's more
It's more
like
like real life.
not all the time it's happy. You know,
Yeah.
but it doesn't end up like everyone is sad like in La La Land.
I never
Like in this
seen.
one, you know that they learned something. You know, like
That was so sad.
it's for sure. I really like that. Like I also like the topics that it touches, like as you were saying, Mariana, like homophobia, homosexuality, stuff like that. But it talks about it in such a normal way. Like it doesn't feel forced at all. You know, like it touches them like in a way that um, like how it was seen in 1997. You know, but all the conversations and every single time that they touch on it, like it feels natural. It doesn't feel forced. And I really appreciate that in a movie.
I mean, I would say
What
it
do you
feels
think?
natural because it's the way people live those conversations and those topics. But like the guy trying to make a lesbian girl like him, it's a little like weird. I don't know. Not normal.
Why?
Yeah, like that. That's not
I mean, it
normal.
talks about bisexuality, and it's very
Yeah,
interesting.
that
Like
too.
I really
But
like the scene where I mean, it's his like by the almost the end of the movie, like the guy gay, like the black gay guy, he tells him like be honest with yourself, like you're only getting mad that she has been with like how come you don't get angry knowing that she has been with a lot of girls, but you get angry when you know that she has been with two guys at the same time. He's like be honest with yourself, it's your fantasy to be the only one. And when I watched this movie, well, like two movies, it's called Nymphomaniac, and it touches almost the same thing. Like in Chasing Amy, the lesbian girl tells Holden like, "Oh, you are my first guy. Like I've never been with another man." That's why he feels so betrayed, right? But like in Nymphomaniac, the lady, it's like she has a lot of lovers,
Partners?
and in one point she decides to tell every single one of them that she has never had an orgasm but with him. And it's very interesting because she explains that she can notice a little smile in every single one of them. Like she noticed that they have a little bit of joy having that, like being the first one or something. Like it's a very natural thing, you know, like a very human thing. I feel that this movie barely touch on it, but it's like a big deal for the protagonist, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that I think it's kind of like emotional manipulation kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah,
they say that and you feel special,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
even though
But
it's
it's
a
a
lie.
lie.
And with that, you
Yeah.
want to stay longer because they make you feel unique and oh my God, I'm the only one. But it's not true. And even if it's not true, I mean, what's the big deal? That's something that is like changing a lot nowadays. And that's something that I really like.
Yeah.
That they used to say, like, no, I only want, I won't date a girl that's being, I don't know, with more than 4 people or that has a body count greater than mine or stuff like that. And that's pretty unrealistic. And that's just like making that
I mean, what I
girl.
like about this movie is that it touches about that stuff because, like, it's not something that we as guys talk about like just openly, like maybe between your friends and stuff like that. Like, oh, how many boys has she slept with? How many girls have you slept with? Stuff like that, right? Like, it's like, I don't know, it's like a very sexual topic, you know.
I mean, yeah.
It's something that you, yeah, yeah, but like, it's not something that you talk to every friend about, you know. Like, you don't go like with your random friend that you just met like a couple years ago. You're like, oh yeah, I've been with this much girls and stuff like that. Like, it's very interesting because even if we deny it, like it might create like, we have a little bit of like, everyone, I think that everyone has like a little bit of issues having that, like, you know, like how many people he or she has slept with, stuff like that. Like, it creates a little bit of tension. Like, it's up to the person like to let it go or to keep it, you know. But yeah, like, I feel that the movie is very interesting because this guy, like the protagonist, it's very liberal. If you compare it to his friend, like, his friend is a homophobe and stuff like that. And throughout the beginning of the movie, he's like, "Hey, don't call them like that. Like, what if she's gay? Stuff like that, right?" But when he knows that she has been like with other guys, he's in this denial. Like, he doesn't. Um, he has troubles accepting the feminine sexuality. You know, like, it's very interesting. Like, how he can pretend that he's very liberal, but at the end, something as simple as that, it just blows his mind. Like, that's what I
Yeah.
found very interesting
Yeah.
about
I
the
mean,
movie.
I think it's because of our culture. Like, we're taught as males that we should, be the first one, be strong, and be always there, and like be the only one that girls want. But when you realize that guys mostly are shit to girls, they just get bored and they leave, and then you come and they're like, oh, you're doing something that I know it's bad, so I don't want to be with you. So you're like, oh, I'm supposed to be the best one. Like, what do you mean? Like, it's just an accident. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I really like the monologue that she has with him, like when
Oh
she's
yeah.
like, you know, like, I've been like with girls throughout like all my life, and now that I met you, like, I know for sure that you are like the one because I've tried everything. I feel that that's very cool. Like, it's a good way to see it, you know.
I
Like,
like it because she's like a really strong woman that
Mm-hmm.
she knows who she is. She has a
yeah,
high self-esteem. She's like, yeah, I made those choices, but they're my choices. I'm not
yeah,
supposed
yeah,
to apologize to you for what happened in high school. Like, come on. And she's totally right. Like, no one should apologize for their past. I mean, it already happened. It weren't their choices at that time. And like, you move on. But like, that mentality, that mindset that he had, or that some males should have, because that's how they were raised. That yeah, I should be the only one, and I don't want my girl being used. I hate that they made like they said that a lot. Like she's used. You're like,
oh yeah,
what do
yeah.
you mean she's used?
Yeah, like,
No.
it's very cathartic when she's like, they didn't use me, I used them
I was
because
so
I
Mm-hmm.
pissed.
wanted that, you know. Like
Yeah.
that was very powerful. It was like, yeah, like, but we discussed about this yesterday that we watched the movie. Like the perspective that we have right now, it's not the same one that they had in 1997, even if it's like 23 years ago. Like it's a very small time gap compared to like other achievements, but like you can see how much we have evolved socially, and like how we see sex nowadays. Because I'm pretty sure that for the people that were that age in 1997, like the age of the protagonists, they didn't have sex education. Like even our parents didn't have sexual education. It was like a taboo thing to talk
Ours
about.
was shit.
Like yeah,
At least we
like
had something.
But
I mean, yeah, man, like you can't complain, because now that you see that movie, you're like, yeah, I knew that. Like in the movie, that's something that I really enjoy. That like all the questions that the homophobe guy does, they're very legitimate questions that a straight guy would have about lesbianism and homosexuals. But like right now, we have it answered like right away with internet. But back in 1997, it was pretty difficult. Like it's something that you will only know if you ask like a homosexual, and that's very interesting because like even nowadays making that kind of questions would be considered rude, or like you shouldn't do them, but
well,
they are very
because it
natural.
is like nobody comes to you and is like, oh, so what do you do like with your girl? Like, how do you do it? Like, oh, what?
Yeah, like it's rude, but like it's very natural to have like that curiosity.
I mean, I think it's natural because we're raised in a world that being in the LGBTQ community, like that tells you that being in that community is not right and is an alternative. It's okay, but like that's not what it should be. That's why we see it as like, oh, it's so curious, like what happens? But when you start like talking to people who are in that community, you realize that there are people and that there's more than you can talk to them about than how they did that, or why are they dressing like that, or why they choose to do certain things.
I mean, nowadays it's way easier to find out like how they have sex and stuff like that. Like we have internet, like it's very easy. If you are curious, you just search it. But back in the day, like you could imagine it, but only by asking that kind of question, like being very direct and even non-apologetic. Like it was the only way to know it.
But like what I'm saying is that it doesn't really matter. Like they're more than that. So there's things,
Yeah, but
better things you can.
it's a genuine question, that you might have just as a person. Like nowadays, you solve it easily and you just walk away. But like back in the day, it was like an actual question. Like even people were like, "How do we have sex like straight people?" You know, like it's not something that, because even your parents don't talk about it very often. Like your parents don't tell you how to fuck. Or do you ask them how to fuck?
Okay.
But the sex
No, it's something that you have to learn by your own.
in high school though. She's like, oh, I was experimenting.
Yeah.
She said
Mhm.
that, and it's perfectly fine. She experimented with men, with women, and whoever. And this guy, still pisses me off. That he tried to change her, or that she was not what he expected. Like he expected her to save herself, or I don't know, not even, because he knew from the very beginning that she was like wild and free. She didn't care what other people said or think about
Yeah.
her.
Yeah,
And
like some.
for him
Sorry.
to judge her after that, like,
I
how
mean,
dare he?
yeah.
Exactly.
But I think that that's the whole point of the movie. Like how come you can be liberal with her, like being with girls, but when it comes like to be with men, with more people than you just freak out. I find that very interesting. But even like something that I really find interesting, it's like the relationship that the guy has with his friend, and how throughout the movie we see his friend as a very shitty person, you know, like he's homophobe, he's always like treating people shitty. But at the end, like, you know that he loves his friend like a lot, because like we as the audience, we are like, man, why are you trying to separate him from the lady, from Alisa, you know, when you know that he loves her, you know. But at the end, like it really makes sense because he knows him from a long time, and even in one scene, he's like, "Man, you are too conservative to be with this girl," you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true.
And he's like, "Man, I don't want you to be hurt. Like,
That's
this is
exactly what
gonna."
happened.
Yeah. Like he predicted everything. But when you don't know this, you're like, "Man, why are you like always cock blocking him? You know, like you're just trying to ruin his relationship." But then, like, he was right all the time. Like he couldn't accept like
Have you guys had any issues like that, or do you know about like real life issues with like, I don't know, like celebrities or friends or yourselves?
wait, what? Like having friends that like don't like your boyfriend or girlfriend?
Yeah, something like that. That tells you like, oh, that's not gonna be a good, you know, thing for you to do or to follow. Or if you have any
Like-
other examples.
Like me personally, I don't have like, I've never had a friend that it's like, oh, that girl, you shouldn't be with that girl, you know. But like I've had friends that I've told them like, man, or a girl, but like especially girls, like I'm like, this guy, it's a shitty person, you know, like no one likes him. And usually they tell me like, oh, but even though no one likes him or he treats people shitty, he treats me good, you know, stuff like that. You know who you are if you're listening to this. But yeah, like at the end, like I can do anything, you know, like I just don't like the person and that's it. I'm not like that guy that it's always like trying to move that person away, because it's not my problem, you know.
But what would you do,
Like-
Mariana? Would you stop your friend from dating someone that may hurt them?
I don't think that you can just like stop them. Like in my case, like I remember once that I started dating this guy, and most of my friends were like, Mariana, this doesn't sound like a very good idea. Or they started like paying more attention to his behavior, and they were like, no, I don't think you're making a good choice. I don't think this is gonna work out. And well, of course, I was like, well, who knows? You might be wrong. Like it might work, and of course it didn't. But like they never like stopped me. They like were like, we cannot stop you. I mean, it's completely your life.
Yeah.
If you want to ruin it like that, then you go.
I mean,
make your
as
mistakes.
a guy, I
and
feel
will
like
be
you need
here
to
for
put
you
like
when everything it's like screwed up.
like I think that as a friend and as a guy, like you need to like be like a, you know, like you need to leave him. Like when it starts getting like aggressive, like that's when you draw the line, you know, like even as a friend, you're like, oh, like he's hitting you or doing shitty stuff. But at the same time, like sometimes people are like they don't notice it, and that's the problem, you know. Like even if they get aggressive and stuff like that, like when it's literally a red light, you're like, how you don't notice? Like how do you? How come you're still with that person? You know, but because I've been in that position, you know, like when I don't know, when that person got aggressive, and I'm like, why are you still with that person? And the person is like, oh, but I love him. And at that point, I'm like, you know what? Like, life is gonna give you a slap, because that's how I solve my issues when I know that I can't get involved
Slap.
or I don't want to get involved. No. Like life gives you a slap. You know, like you can leave things go on, and at the end, life is gonna give you a slap. It's gonna be like, oh, my boyfriend made this aggressive stuff, and when he actually hits you, that's when life gives you a slap. or when he's cheating on you, and you're like, yeah, sorry. I think, but yeah, like when he's cheating on you or something like that, that's life giving you slap because you should have seen it coming.
Yeah. I was in like a similar Oh, yeah, Marina.
No, I just said that sometimes you don't see it coming, and that's fucked up. But you
Mhm.
go, Rene.
Yeah, I was in a it's kind of similar position at one point. I met so I had a friend from high school, and then on our last summer, no, it was my last summer of high school. No, I'm kidding. It was his last summer of high school and my first summer out of high school. And then we went to work to this camp, and then I met my current girlfriend, and then he already knew this girl, and like we all were friends, and then they started dating. But then this guy's plans was to like move to an island and to like become a super devoted Christian. And then this girl was like, yeah, I don't want that. So after camp, they did it for like 6 months. And then I would have like both sides of like the story, like being like the guy be like, oh, I really love her. And then we're going to be together forever. And then the girl be like, I don't want to be with him, but I want to hurt him. Like, I don't know what to do. So I would like go with my friend, like the guy, and was like, hey, maybe you should like be a little like, you know, let her live and whatever. Like she's trying to like make her own life and make her own choices and decisions. And he was like, oh no, we're gonna get married because we're dating and that's what God wants.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Welcome
it didn't
to
end up well,
2020.
but she's now doing really well. So
Both of
I'm
them are doing
happy.
really well.
Uh, she's doing really well. I don't know the other guy.
Oh, shit.
But I mean, the problem is that like that's why I'm saying that you should let life give them a slap. Like you should have let life give him a slap. You shouldn't get involved because when you get
Well,
involved in a like if you're making it like with good vibes. Like you're trying to make everyone be happy, but when you just like enter like to a relationship that you shouldn't. It like you don't know if they are gonna, I don't know, like maybe right now they are fighting, but then they go back together, and then they are like, oh, this guy was trying to divide us. And then
well,
you end up
no,
like,
it's different because there were like a lot of like in like behind the scenes problems.
were you
So
involved or only them?
with that between them,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I knew that it was better for her to not be with him. So I was
Yeah,
just preparing my friend, being like, hey, no, you should like focus on other things or like get ready to move or like because like I wasn't gonna make them break up, but like
yeah, but
it was
like I'm not saying that you're making them break up, but it could be perceived as that. Like,
well, no, because it was in between them. Like she knew that I was talking to him because I I was trying to help her, but he didn't know I was talking to her.
yeah, but like what I mean is like, what if they break up and then they go back together and then they are like, oh, Rene was trying to separate us.
Well, no,
Like he
because
was like telling me to be
what
prepared
I'm
and
saying is
stuff.
that the situation wasn't gonna let that happen.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
I knew that.
Yeah. But yeah, like that's why I never get involved. And also like I feel that for a human to learn something way better, it's to get slapped by
Well,
life,
yeah,
you
but
know?
like sometimes there's more than that. Like there's a lot of emotional pain that like both people are carrying,
Yeah,
and
but
sometimes
that emotional
if the
pain
guy
creates a
is
scar.
more, well, yeah, but if the guy is more like controlling, like you kind of have to like help or if you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets kind of dangerous. Don't you see in the news that these girls
Yeah,
are
yeah.
like, no, I don't want to be with you, and then they get stabbed and they're dead?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, like violence.
Yeah, like
Fortunately,
I'm
this
telling
guy
you,
got
like
to go and
if there is
apologize.
if you see violence, like there is the point where you should interfere. But if it's like just like talking, like they don't know if they want to be each other stuff with each other. For me, like I prefer not to interfere. I let them like life slap them. Like in the case of your friend, like I wouldn't interfere, and when she decides to move on, like he would get slapped by life because he didn't know how to let go.
Yeah,
Stuff like
but
that, you know?
it's a thing of both. Like she was
Yeah.
like she was worried. She had a lot of feelings. Like she was feeling
She was
controlled at
afraid
the
of
same
hurting
time.
him, right?
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
feeling controlled, and she was also feeling like she didn't want to hurt him. She didn't want to know what to do. So I literally was just telling the guy like, "Hey, just focus on yourself. Like, let her
I
go."
mean,
Like,
how I say it, it's like emotional scars give you a better knowledge than just like I don't know, a little bit of pain, you know?
but sometimes like the scars are like not good, you know.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know how the person might react. Like some people
Mhm.
are like hypersensitive or they have like really low self-esteem, and a small thing that happens that can really like
Yeah.
put them
I mean, at
down,
the end,
depression,
that's how I
insomnia.
see it, you know? Like, because I don't know, how I see it, it's like when you get hurt, I don't know, it's like falling from a bicycle, you know? Because you try to make a trick. Like, if you just hurt yourself and you're like, ouch, you try it again. But if you get a scar, you're like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that again, you know?
Well, yeah, but
That's how I see it.
that I think to close. I think this is why people should start like accepting like your loved ones the way they are. Like again, I'm gonna reread the quote that I read during the last episode. If you didn't hear the last episode, it was really good because we talk about types of love, and it might help you understand this episode better. So this line is from the show Merli. Again, Merli was a philosophy professor, well, teacher at like a high school in Spain, in Barcelona, and like fictional, of course. So he says, "True love does not expect anything in return. Pure love consists in loving selflessly. This means that if we love a person, we cannot demand them to love us. We can give them any condition, even we have to be willing to lose them." So if you really love someone, like you're not gonna go to that extreme of like make them regret their past or make them regret the people they hang out with or what they want to do in their future. You're just gonna love them and understand that they're a person and they want to do things the same way you want to do and experiment things. So sometimes you can be compatible and like work towards a future together, and sometimes you just have to let them go. That way you avoid like a lot of emotional scars and like bruises from life. Like they're still gonna happen, but like a lot of like the emotion and you know the really gross drama that happens.
Yeah, maybe I've never had drama, so GG.
What do you think,
Nice.
Mariana?
Yeah, and that thing about accepting the person for who they are, it's like the hardest to find, really, because
Yeah.
usually everyone find flaws and they're like, no, I want to change them or whatever. Like in this case, this guy he loved her, for sure he loved her, but he knew she was a lesbian, and he still was like, I don't care, maybe you will change for me. It's just like, why you don't accept
I think that it was his
who I
fantasy,
was?
you know?
Yeah, of course.
He
But he
knew
wasn't
from the very
respecting
beginning
her.
who she was, and he still was trying and trying and trying, and I think that was really selfish more
Yeah.
than everything, because he
Yeah.
just was like, oh, I like her, I like her being like so adventurous and she's so special, so different. Oh, she must change for me. Maybe I'll be the exception.
Yeah.
And that was really unfair. Like he
But
knew
I
what he
mean,
was getting into.
but she didn't change because she was bisexual. She was never a lesbian. She was bisexual.
Yeah, inclined a little bit more to the girls, which is fine. She can be
Yeah.
like how she was, how she wanted to. But the problem was that with the other girls, they were like all fine, everything was great. But with this, the problem with the guy was like, oh, you've been with more guys, and
Yeah,
that I have been with girls in my life.
yeah. I mean, I understand that it was like a huge change for her. He was like, I like she even says it, like for you it's easy like just to tell me you love me, but I have to change everything, because I've been living this amount of time as lesbian, and now I'm like I'm just changing for you. But
Yeah.
like later on, she says like, you know what, like I changed because like I knew that I experimented with everything to find like the person who I love, and it turned out to be a guy. Like that's very interesting. Like I really like that idea, um, like to search in every sex, like not being like limited to only like your opposite sex. Like that's interesting. Like I wouldn't do it, but it's interesting.
Who knows? But like also one thing that I found like really interesting, and that we were talking about, like accepting the person for who they are. It's when Alisa or Alicia, well,
Elisa,
Alisa, when the guy, I always forget the name,
Holden.
Holden, asks for his friend and Alisa to come to their apartment, and he wants to speak to both of them.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? I know how to solve this issue. Let's have a threesome. And Alisa was like, what? He's like, yeah, it shouldn't be such a big deal for you. You've done it before.
Yeah, that was
And
really
she's
shitty.
like, that doesn't mean I want to do it now. I did it a long time ago, and that's part of my past. Why can't you just accept it and let it go? Like he wants her to still like hold on to her past, and that's another thing about accepting a person. Accept her past, and accept that she evolved. She's no longer that
Yeah,
person.
you should accept the present, like not stick to the past. And I also don't agree with him. Like, I don't know, like I find it very, very shitty, like to be like, you've been with a lot of guys. Like, why is this different? Like, that's a very, very shitty thing to say. But like, how I understood the movie, at the end, he gives her like the comic about the actual movie. So how I understand it, it's that the script of the movie is the comic. So at the end, he really understood like what he should have done. Like he understood the message that he shouldn't have done that.
Mhm.
But like,
And he let go.
yeah, like because it's very interesting. Like, have you ever been with a person that I don't know something ends up shitty because of you, but you learned the lesson like very late, and when you learn it, like it's too late to be with that person again.
I mean, yeah, and that's what I mean by like men being like dumb and shitty. Like we learn, but like a girl's feelings and
Ages
mental
later.
health
That's
is
very fast
affected,
well, man.
you know?
Like it also happens with women. I assume, like maybe they, yeah, like if she's like a very jealous person, she's like, and then she learns that she shouldn't have done that, like being like shitty. Like maybe you learn too late, like it's not only for men.
Yeah, exactly. But as you said, like you shouldn't continue like mentioning the mistakes from that person to a different version of her or of him. Like
Mhm.
I don't know, like I used to be a very jealous person before, and I made some drama about some girl to an ex. And if he still, I don't know, I meet him or whatever, we're friends, he's like, yeah, because you're like this. I was like, no, I was like that because I learned that it was wrong. And yeah, you grow up, you're more mature, and you don't take the same things as you used to before. And if Alicia was in high school and college and whatever, then it shouldn't.
Yeah,
It shouldn't remind her about what she did over and over again. I mean, she's aware of what she did.
yeah. I mean, for me, like I don't know, like when you have a connection like with an ex or something like that, um, I don't know, like going back together for me, like it's very difficult, especially if you stop talking to her like for a long time. Like for me, it's not like, oh, I talked to you again, like let's go back together, you know?
Oh
Like
no.
for me, I need to know them again. It's like knowing them again because even if 1 year passed, like maybe that person changed completely, you know? Like it,
Or maybe you changed completely.
yeah, like both of you
Yeah,
change.
exactly.
Like we are like a river. It's not the same water, you know? Yeah.
Oh,
I can see you guys like having like goosebumps right now. Maybe cringing, I don't know.
it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
Anyway, I think we should all accept the people that we love, and they should accept us back.
Yeah.
And maybe watch our latest episode to see different kinds of love, so you can express to your loved ones how you appreciate to be loved, and they can tell you how they appreciate to be loved, they would like to be loved. So yeah, go on our Instagram. We have like a very useful what's it called, carousel that Mariana made about the 5 love languages. Also watch our latest podcast, episode
It's on our
12, I think it is, about love. Felipe also did research for that, so it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. We're going to be making movies like this, like
Every month.
yeah, every month. We are gonna decide which ones we're like. We watch 3 movies to decide which one we were gonna do for this episode. Like we should recommend them as well. Like
Yeah,
we
on
watched A Marriage
Instagram.
Story. Like that's a favorite from Rene. Like he really likes that movie. But like in my opinion, I like we didn't talk about that one because I thought that we couldn't add too much to what it's already been told about. And the other one that we watched was Cold War, and that one is
That's
one of my favorites.
but it's very slow.
Yeah, it's very slow. It's in
Polish.
Polish and
Polish, yeah.
Russian and French. Like it's a slow, so we didn't thought that you guys would like we don't know what kind of movies you guys watch. So yeah, we didn't want you to have like a big movie to watch for this little episode. So yeah, I feel that this movie it's very friendly, like very user friendly. Anyone can watch it. You're gonna have a very good time watching it, and you end up like with this very good aftertaste. You know, like you finish it and you're like sad but happy. Like I don't know. I feel very good.
I think it's very relatable to real life, so you understand.
Yeah.
You will understand the feeling because we have it pretty often.
Yeah, no. But yeah.
It's like when you leave a trip, you had fun, you
Oh,
want
I
to
see,
leave,
I
but you
see.
want to go back home, but like
Oh, I
you
see what
miss
you mean.
your food, but
Like-
like you,
Yeah, and the thing that it's like the story takes place in the 90s. Like for all those people that are 90s like us, like from the 90s like us, like it's a very good like nostalgia hit. So yeah, like you should give it a try. Like I guess that you already watched it. But yeah, like if not, like you already heard like most of the plot, but you're gonna really enjoy this movie. Like it's a very fun, and even most of the filmography from Kevin Smith, it's very fun. It's not as like I feel that this one is the better one. Like it's my favorite from his cinematography. But yeah, like all of them are fun. So yep.
yeah. So follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, Google Podcast. Yeah, rate us wherever you can. Message us on Instagram. Be like, hey, talk about this movie. Or there's this really weird thing that happens in my country. Do you want to talk about that? So we would really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Mariana?
Not really, just that. Thank you for continuing supporting us, listening to our podcast. And yeah, we'll keep updating more content. We accept any feedback. And yeah, we'll see you in our next episode.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.